So, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. As Canadians, we believe in supporting our arts in any way possible. And back in the 1970s and 80s, some of our money went towards this program, SCTV, and technically every Canadian was a producer because the tax money was pooled to pay the salaries for everybody that was involved in the show. But one of the most important members of SCTV was not Canadian, and unfortunately he passed away on April Fool's Day. What a joke. I think when people heard he passed away, they said, it's probably another SCTV joke. But Joe Flaherty, unfortunately, has passed away. Now, this American actor, writer, and comedian is best known for his work on SCTV from 76 to 84, on which he also served as one of the main writers, and as Harold Weir on Freaks and Geeks, and of course as Donald the Heckler and Happy Gilmore in his appearances in Back to the Future 2 in 1941. Now, born in Pittsburgh, he was the eldest of 7 children. His father was a production clerk at Westinghouse and of Irish heritage, and his mother was Italian. And of course, on both sides, the Italians and Irish have a good sense of humor. Now, he served in the U.S. Air Force for 4 years, but then got involved in dramatic theater. Now, when he moved to Chicago, he started his comedy career with the Second City Theater as Joe O'Flaherty. He dropped the O as there was another Joseph O'Flaherty registered with Actors Equity. Along with several other Second City performers, he began appearing on the National Lampoon Radio Hour from 73 to 74 with numerous other luminaries, including Belushi and Chase. After 7 years in Chicago, he moved to Toronto to help establish the Toronto Second City Theatre Troupe. During those years, he was the original writer-performer on SCTV, where he spent 8 years on the show, playing such characters as Big Jim Big Bob of Farm Film Report fame. She blew up real good. Count Floyd, Floyd Robertson, oh, and station owner manager Guy Caballero, who goes around in a wheelchair only for respect and undeserved sympathy. And of course, the Godfather theme episode of SCTV, where Flaherty was the Godfather, is a classic of small screen TV that is unparalleled in comedy history. Probably the greatest combined skit ever. Now, other memorable Flaherty characterizations, including emotional talk show host Sammy Maudlin, seedy saxophonist Private Eye Vic Arpeggio, aggressive elocution lecturer Norman Gorman, myopic public television host You Betcha, and craziest as a snake ex-convict Rocco from Days of the Week to Show Within a Show. Now, when SCTV ceased production in 84, the same year, Flaherty played Count Floyd in a short film that was shown in concerts by the rock band Rush for the song The Weapon for their tour in support of Grace Under Pressure, and can be seen in a home video, Grace Under Pressure Tour. Now, when Flaherty appeared in a number of cult favorite films, for example, playing the part of a Western Union postal worker who delivers Doc Brown's 70-year-old letter to Marty McFly, played by Michael J. Fox in Back to the Future Part 2 in 89, as well as the crazed fan yelling jackass, who secretly works for antagonist Shooter McGavin and Happy Gilmore. Now, in Season 8 of Family Guy, Flaherty once again played the Western Union man in Something 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 Dark Side. He likewise sanitized his Back to the Future Part 2 character in The Big Bang Theory, this time playing a Vatican worker whose role is essentially identical to that of his Western Union character. Now, in 89, Flaherty played a guest role in Married with Children in the Season 4 episode Truth or Consequences as a recently divorced dentist who must repair Hal Bundy's teeth. Good luck with that. Now, during the 98 season, he starred the television adaptation of Police Academy the series as Commandant Stuart Heffyfinger. The series lasted only for one season. Now, in 99, he joined the cast of Freaks and Geeks, an NBC hour-long dramedy set in the 1981 academic year, in which he played Harold Weir, the irascible father of 2 teens. Despite dedicated cult following, the show only lasted one season. In the third episode, Trick and Treats, he dons a cheap vampire costume reminiscent of his Count Floyd character of the depicted era. Now, you could do a whole podcast or miniseries how important Count Floyd was to the Canadian movie aesthetic. The basic plot was he was going to introduce a movie that was just terrible, wouldn't be that scary, and he was coming up with every idea to think is scary. But the only movies that were traditionally scary was Treaty House's Stewardesses, Rip and Tear Igor. But Count Floyd, like you would say, ooh, that's scary. But can you imagine SCTV in the States? It was well known for Bob and Doug McKenzie. But in Canada, Count Floyd was more popular than Bob and Doug because every young child under the age of 15 would use that at school about their teacher when he would take a freak. Ooh, sketty, sketty. It has to be seen to believe. Only Canadians really understand SCTV. Now, Flaherty made additional other major appearances, including the King of Queens as Father McAndrew, the priest at the Hefferman's Church. He also started a Bite TV original program, Uncle Joe's Cartoon Playhouse, and also served as a judge on the CBC program, The Second City's Next Comedy Legend. Now, from 01 to 04, he appeared in various Disney shows and films, including The Legend of Tarzan and Home on the Range. Now, in 2018, Flaherty participated in a cast reunion at Toronto's Elgin Theatre, filmed by Martin Scorsese for the yet-to-be-released Netflix special. Now, beginning in 2004, Flaherty was a member of the faculty at Humber College, where he taught a comedy writing course. He was also in the program's advisory committee. This is like a lady that knows all about chocolate and telling you about chocolate making. Can you imagine what the conversations were in class? Well, I did find Count Floyd funny. F. Now, Flaherty was married to Judith Dagley for 22 years until their divorce. They had two children, Gudrun, who was also an actress and writer, and Gabrielle. His brothers and Paul and Dave are comedy writers, and of course, they shared Emmy recognition in the heady years of the early 80s. Unfortunately, he passed away on April 1st, 2024, at the age of 82 after a short illness. Now, celebrities impersonated by Flaherty on SCTV included Kirk Douglas, Charlton Heston, William F. Buckley, Jack Klugman, Robert Mitchum, Bing Crosby, Don Knotts, Yasser Arafat, Richard Nixon, Alistair Cook, Slim Whitman, with Indira Gandhi singing You Don't Bring Me Flowers, the corpse of Albert Schweitzer, Gregory Peck, Andy Anderson as Rochester, Alan Alda, Elvis Presley, Hugh Beaumont, John Huston, Larry Fine, Pope Paul VI, Geraldo Rivera, Art Garfunkel, Roderick Crawford, Jacques Cousteau, Lowell Thomas, Henry Fonda, Marcello Mastroianni, Sylvester Stallone, Shoebox, Paul Bradley, Aaron Copland, Tom DiMaggio, Dick Meadows, Gavin MacLeod, Prince Philip, Tom Wolfe, Peter O'Toole, Salvador Dali, Gene Siskel, Hugh Hefner, and musician Paul Revere. Now, Flaherty appeared in a cameo in deleted scenes from Anchorman as the salacious news director who first employs Rita Genkin after graduation from Syracuse University. He encouraged her to wear a swimsuit to do the weather. Also appears on as an immigration RCMP police officer in the Canadian road trip episode of That 70 Show, along with Dave Thomas. Now, in the third episode of Freaks and Geeks, again, he is dressed up as a vampire in reference to the character Count Floyd. Now, discography included Gold Turkey, National Lampoon album 75, and Count Floyd in 82, if you can find it. So, again, the film performances, some CamCon, some not. Tunnel Vision, 1941, the Spielberg movie, where he played two roles. Nothing Personal, Used Cars, By Design, Stripes, Heavy Metal, where he plays a lawyer, Going Berserk, Johnny Dangerously, Sesame Street Presents Follow That Bird, Club Paradise, One Crazy Summer, Inner Space, Blue Monkey, Kid Saved the Video, Who's Harry Crumb with John Candy, Speed Zone, Back to the Future Part 2, A Pig's Tale, Stuart Saves His Family, Happy Gilmore, Snowboard Academy, The Wrong Guy, Detroit Rock City, Freddy Got Fingered, Slackers, National Security, Home and the Range, Jeb the Goat, The Voice, Anchorman, and Phil the Alien. On TV, The Sunshine Hour, The David Steinberg Show, where it was sort of a preamble to SCTV because Andrew Martin was already on the show. SCTV, 131 episodes. King of Kensington, George Bourne's Comedy Week, The Hitchhiker, CBS Summer Playhouse, The Completely Mental Misadventures of Ed Grimley, where he played Count Floyd, of course, the cartoon. Looking for Miracles, Martin Short Goes Hollywood, where he played Gene Siskel. Married with Children, Monsters, Maniac Mansion, very underrated series. Morton and Hayes, Little Dracula, where he played Big Dracula. Dinosaurs, he played the Chief Elder. Nurses, Phenom, Rebel Highway, Hardball, Family Reunion, A Relative Nightmare, Dream On, The Louis Show, Ellen, Cartoon Planet, The Don's Analyst, Police Academy, the series, Traders, The Wonderful World of Disney, Freaks and Geeks, Mentors, Even Stevens, The Industry, That 70 Show where he played Brian the Bounty, Goldfish, Primetime Glick, The Legend of Tarzan, The Santa Claus Brothers, The King of Queens, Maybe It's Me, Royal Canadian Air Force, Frasier, A Nero Wolf Mystery, Timo Supremo, The True Meaning of Christmas Specials, Clone High, Puppets Who Kill, Tilt, Chili Beach, The Business, Robson Arms, Caution May Contain Nuts, again Count Floyd, Family Guy, American Dad, The Life and Times of Tim, I Martin Shirt Goes Home, and of course, Call Me Fitz. So how funny was Joe Flaherty in Canada? Well, ladies and gentlemen, every Friday night or every time in syndication, especially the famous skit talking about family values where John Flaherty, John Candy plays the hockey player coming home from hockey camp and the gay poet of the family, and Joe Flaherty plays this kind of Irish Scottish family head. You make me want to puke. April Fool. If you're gonna go as a comedian, April's Fool's Day, when probably this wasn't made public, it was on CBC Radio Today, and he didn't mention he died on April Fool's Day because that's the biggest joke. He's passed away like we all do, but what a way to go. And I tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, 82 years of age, every moment of his life he brought love and comedy and joy to everybody, and I'm really gonna miss it because Guy Caballero, boys, oh boys, oh boys, oh boys, ladies and gentlemen, what a freaking character to come up with that is so complex. But Floyd Robertson meets Count Floyd because Floyd Robinson was a drunk, and there's newsmen in Canada on CBC that left for CTV, including Alex Trebek of all people. There's a grumpiness of the Canadian aesthetic with newsmen back in the day, like don't fuck us over or we're going to make trouble for you. And, but a Sammy Modeling show. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, there's no end to the talent he had. And the actors he portrayed, I mean, it's just totally amazing. But William Buckley was one of my favorites, and Dudley, so. But Joe, you will be missed. And let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Canadian heroes are hockey players and comedians. There's no other way to say that. Because Canadians, when we're not crying, we're laughing. And when we're not laughing, we're not Canadian. Because every Canadian is a comedian. Because you have to look on the sunny side of life, as we say. But can you imagine this, ladies and gentlemen? In Canada, we had Monty Python. Then we had SCTV. Then we had Kids in the Hall. Do you know how lucky it is to grow up Canadian in the 70s, 80s, and 90s to have these three biggest influences? It's like a fat person having three pizza makers in a family. One does Hawaiian, one does pepperoni, and one does all cheese. There is no way that any Canadian born in the 1960s is not impacted by SCTV because they were our babysitters, they were our heroes, and Joe, you will be missed because, my God, I must have laughed a million times at what he did, but I'm still seeing the scene when Slim Whitman and Deera Gandhi singing "You Don't Bring Me Flowers." Anyway, if you put it this way, the world is a lesser place with Joe not in it. We're going to miss you, brother. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, everything's on YouTube, so check it out, especially the SCTV Network 90. Thanks for listening. Bye.